Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your continued support. Right, a couple of things before I get into this. First of all, I know there are lots of people in the chat, lots of people in the comment section, very worried about the transition from legacy benefits over to universal credit. Now, I think I did a video, I can't remember, my memory is awful. I think I did a video on universal credit and things like that, but I can't remember if I've done a video on the people who can help you in terms of migrating from legacy benefits over to universal credit, you know, how these people can help you. I know I did go through a video that was on the government website which tells you how to migrate, but obviously some people might still need help in terms of what to put in, what not to put in, and basically walk through the process. So I was thinking about doing a video where I would show you where you can get help from, either online or wherever. If you think that would be helpful, let me know down in the comment section. I don't think I've done something like that before, quite like that. So let me know if you think that would be of use to you guys. What I wanted to talk about today was how the government sees benefit spending. Now, this has been triggered by an article which I've seen, which I'll put a picture up here, which is where MPs on both sides, Labour Party and Conservative Party, have both said that in order to meet this 2.5% of GDP for the defence budget, which is of course where Keir Starmer wants us to be. I think we're currently 2.3%. He wants us to be 2.5% by 2030. And they're saying that they're going to need to cut things in Whitehall, cut spending, stuff like that. And of course, one of the things I mentioned is cutting benefits and cutting the aid budget. And say Conservatives and the Tories are both behind the idea that they should cut the aid budget and they should cut the benefit budget in order to fund the defence budget, which I think is I don't think cutting the defence, but cutting the benefits budget just to cut it is right anyway. But anyway, now of course, this is all about the situation in another country, which I won't name just in case YouTube doesn't like it. But how you feel about that conflict and how you feel about that situation and us being involved is a personal choice, and I'm not going to get into that. But obviously, they are going to need to find the money from somewhere. But the problem is that I think is that you can't simply say, and I think that a lot of governments, not just the Labour Party, the Conservatives before them as well, they tend to think of things as a spreadsheet. You know, they look at a spreadsheet, they're like, oh, we're spending this much on this. We don't want to spend that much on that. We'll lower that by this much and then we can put it over there. You know, they don't tend to think, well, if I take that much off of that budget, what will that do to people in the country? What will that do to people? What effect will that have on people? And I really don't think they know. You know, they go on these walkabouts, they go to visit these, you know, places across the country, and they say hello and they shake your hand, but I don't think they really understand what's going on. So, and you know, it's not just a case of we'll cut this and then we can spend it on there, because it's going to have a knock-on effect. And one of the things I think is the problem is that, you know, and the Labour Party, the Labour government have been very happy to talk about this all the time, is they talk about how, you know, they've inherited this awful country from the Conservative Party. It was a broken country when they inherited it from the Conservatives, and part of that is the DWP and the Job Centre. They're both broken, and to get those into a situation, get those up to speed, to get those into a point where you can start helping people is going to take time and money. And getting people into work is going to take time and money, because you can't just tell them to get a job. You've got to help them, you've got to support them, otherwise they're not going to find work. And so, you know, you've then got to spend money to do that. So I don't think they necessarily appreciate how much money they're going to have to spend in order to get a little bit of savings on the benefits budget. And is it even going to be a saving? I wouldn't entirely know that it would be. And of course, they don't talk about other budgets that they could be cutting, such as immigration budgets, you know, on asylum seekers and things like this. Now, I don't get involved in politics and things like that, not on this channel anyway, but, you know, they never talk about how much they spend on that. You know, they're quite happy to talk about the billions they spend on the welfare budget, but they never talk about how much they spend on that budget. You know, they never talk about how much. Well, the Treasury won't disclose how much the Chagos deal is going to be costing them. So it's all these things where they're happy to talk about figures where they think it is a subject that people will support them. But if it's something that isn't going to be supported, they're not going to talk about it. And so I think that it's very easy, as I've said before, to hit on the disabled, to hit on those people who can't find work, because there aren't a lot of jobs out there, and there are lots of people who have been looking for a very long time. As I've said before, there are YouTube channels of people who go through the job hunting process, and some of them have been trying for a year or more to get a job, and they can't get one. So, you know, this isn't as simple as just saying to people, get a job, get back to work. There's a whole issue behind it which they're going to have to fix before they get to that point. So, and I'm rambling a little bit, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that I think that it's important that the government understand that you can't just say we are going to reduce the spending on the welfare budget, because the welfare budget is supporting those people who can't work, or supporting people who are looking for work. So you can't simply say we're going to take this much off of it, because I think Jeremy Hunt said that he thinks that the government should get benefit spending down to what it was in 2019. Well, you're not necessarily going to do that, because there are going to be more people who could be unwell. You know, obviously that big pandemic that we had, there were lots of people with long COVID. You know, whether you agree with long COVID or not, it is a lot of medical people have said it's a real thing. And there are lots of people who've got long COVID who've had to be supported. There are lots of conditions that have been picked up along that way, which have got to be, side effects of COVID that have got to be picked up on. So I don't think it's easy as just saying we need to reduce this budget by this much and then move on. I think that they're looking at it from completely the wrong angle. They're looking at it from, we need to get people into work, but they don't actually think outside the box. And one of the things I did when I went to the job centre many years ago, I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to train to become something that I could then start my own business with. They didn't offer that at the time. Now, I don't know whether they're going to start offering that now, but maybe a lot of people would be happy to go into their own business, especially people who may have maybe on benefits because they've got a certain condition, or they've got a certain mental health problem, whereby if they're working on their own projects in their own business, they might be happy to do that. They might be able to do that, work around themselves, if you know what I mean, rather than working around an employer. But anyway, that's just my 2 pennies worth. But that's what I wanted to say. So it's a bit of a rant. I do apologise for that, but thank you for sticking around. If you are still here, thank you. Do think about subscribing if you're still here as well, and let me know down in the comment section what you think about this whole situation, and I will see you in the next one.